that did hit the spot.
Right? I don't even have all the bread with it. And you had more French fries.
I made a big rookie mistake, probably fog of run.
Fog of run.
Of not getting the spicy chicken. It's usually my go-to, and I panicked. Marguerite, or whatever her name was pressuring us with no menu, and I made a rookie mistake. I admit my faults.
Listen, we were just looking for, like, I would have been fine with an Egg McMuffin.
Watch the snapping of that bottle.
What do you mean?
Because everything is louder on these mics. These are top-tier mics I got for $19 on the internets.
Went the wrong way, you know.
It can only turn right.
No, I would have just turned left anyway.
No, there was no way to turn left. I'm going to do it right here.
I mean, you just turn left.
Let's test out the tight turn radius on this bad boy.
Please leave my car alone.
I did make a rookie mistake. I got the regular chicken.
Listen,
it still tastes
I
good.
think that we were so lucky that the simple snack we wanted, we got Chick-fil-A for our simple snack. I would have been fine at this 7-Eleven getting taquitos and like a hot dog. I needed to eat something.
That hot dog would have been there all week. That's a week-old glizzy right there. That would have been bad news, pal.
No guts, no glizzy.
Yeah.
As they say.
No glizzy, no glory.
Oh, dude, we should get this matte black grandpa car.
I don't think they can see it in the camera.
Yeah, it's just me. Sometimes it's just me and you. Not everything is for Creature or Bonji or your other menagerie of freaks that you've named.
These are top men.
These I do love them all. But
these are all-time guys.
These the below the Mason-Dixon line Avengers that
every single one of them makes the list of top men. All right, jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to the Libretti Podcast Diary Show. This is a show about nothing that finds a lesson in everything. And boy, did we learn a lesson today doing the Rocky Run. And the lesson is,
don't do it.
Running is stupid.
Don't do it.
Running's tough. We stink at it.
You're way better than me. I was the worst runner today out of the 4 people who ran of our group.
Yeah, you were the worst runner in the race.
No, we were dude, honestly, those last 3 miles where I was doing really, really bad, like at my worst, even when we were doing a fast walk, we were passing plenty of people.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing with the passing of the people was it was the same people, because we would pass and then...
No, they never... There was a bunch of people that... So that guy who was talking to me in the beginning, like at like mile 2, he's like, oh yeah, my leg is shot, you know, but like, you guys
did you see where he ended up? The red shirt, you're talking about red sweatshirt?
Yeah, red shirt.
He ended up right behind us. He finished maybe 3
but
seconds
he was like a fireman or something.
Oh, the blue shirt you're talking about.
No, he had a red shirt, but it said fire or something on it.
It was probably for fire sauce from Taco Bell, because he was a big guy.
Fire roasted chicken.
Yeah.
You never had fire roasted chicken?
Where?
Fire roasted chicken is the name of the place.
Oh, no.
I gotta take it. There's one in Caldwell and there's one by work. Imagine if Boston Market was like quality ingredients.
Boston Market used to be.
But imagine walking into a place that's like that, but quality.
Linda's Chicken. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Johnny, they had the window.
Yeah.
You gotta tell me.
Top tier chicken. Top tier birds.
I honestly, at all their primes, I would take fire roasted over all of them. You get a
Where
whole.
is it?
It's the one is in Morris Plains, over there, and then there's one in I don't know where the one in Caldwell is, but there's one in Morris Plains we go all the time for work.
I hope we're recording.
Me too.
Because we got the camera facing the other way to get the video of both of us in here, and it's a crapshoot right now with the tech.
Yeah.
But is it New Jersey only place?
Yeah. I met the guy. So I don't want to brag. I discovered fire roasted chicken and has now become the phenomena of JR. Many moons ago, I used to go to the gym after work with Big Dane, when he was like really big. But first of all, that guy could squat like a train. He had massive legs.
Big guy.
Really big guy. And then as we were leaving one day, I was really hungry, so I was going to go get something to eat. Shut up. I lost my bottle.
It could be any day. It could be any time.
But, I mean, this is also, this is right around when you had started, like, training me to, like, not be a fat shit.
Not die.
Yeah. So on the table in the gym, they had like flyers, and as we were leaving, I just happened to see like a big picture of like a chicken head, like a cartoon, like a drawn. I'm like, oh, what's this place? And
that place, yeah, it's a good drawing.
No, but I looked at it, I'm like, oh, this is like a Boston market, but it looks good. And I went in, and I was a regular there for a while, and I talked to the guy. He got all his experience. He ran a bunch of like boardwalk food places for years.
Sure.
And like made a ton of money. And then he opened up 2 of them, and it's like, you go in, you can get a quarter, a half, or a whole chicken. You can get half with white meat, half with dark meat. You can get half with a mix of both of them. And then they have all, mashed sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, fries, corn, cream spinach, regular spinach, lemon broccoli. They have all this stuff to give you.
Mac and cheese?
Yep, they have mac and cheese. And then they give you a... is it a biscuit? What is it? It's not really it's a piece of corn muffin, like a little cornbread.
Okay.
And then also, apparently they have really good ribs there. I've never gotten the ribs, but top tier. Yeah.
So, we're going to talk about the race. I don't know if there's any current events.
I don't want to talk about
There's
the
not
race.
really current... What? Oh, well, I don't know if you were following this.
Israel?
No. The Yankees front office had their press conferences or whatever, their discussions, and Hal Steinbrenner, he said all the things that you're supposed to say as an owner when your team stinks as bad as the Yankees stunk this year. Whether he meant it or not, he said the stuff that people wanted to hear.
Well, I will say, I just saw another thing. Baseball as a whole, they're doing the wrong things to try to make it popular. We'll do the pitch clock, and we'll have this, and we'll do that. Like they're doing like marketing things instead of doing baseball things.
Well, the pitch clock is helpful.
Do you know how many batters this year who got like whatever the certain amount of at-bats you need to get to qualify? Do you know how many batters this year batted over 300?
Like 12.
9.
Yeah.
It was the first time since 1968 that less than 10 people batted 300.
68, was that what was the year?
That was bad baseball going on. I mean, maybe Cincinnati
it was right after Bob Gibson pitched like 60 complete games and dominated the league. I think the next year is when they like lowered the mound or something a little bit.
Yeah.
That's probably why it was the last time since now.
But it's I don't understand.
He'll know the truth.
I don't understand why they have this focus. Listen, I'm not as big of you as you, obviously. I'm bigger. Hey. But in terms of as a baseball fan and like obviously the knowledge of baseball, but I've been a solid baseball fan my whole life. Like, keep track of the Yankees, what's going on.
What does it say to do, by the way, direction?
95 north and 0.5 miles.
Got it.
I mean, you stay on that until the Parkway.
Yeah.
But as somebody who loves the game of baseball, loves to go to games, could give a shit less about exit velocity. If I don't care if every one of your players had the highest exit velocity of anything ever. If they're batting 240, I do not give a shit.
There's only one person I care about exit velocity, and that's Giancarlo Stanton, because
that's all they pay him for.
I want him to do what you see in cartoons. I want him to hit a ball through a guy.
Yeah.
And that's it. And he almost did it. He hit that pitcher with a ground ball. Yeah. He hit the pitcher in the leg and he broke his foot.
Now,
amazing.
I am not a smart man, but I know what baseball is.
I know what 5 rows of chicken should taste like.
But Johnny, I swear to God, I said this in 2009. It was already happening, so I'm sure other people had said. I'm sure of it. I'm sure a bajillion people had said it at this point. Maybe it was 2010, whenever Moneyball came out. I left the theater. I love the movie, great movie. And I said,
Brad Pitt and Corey Davis were in it.
Corey Davis was in it?
Yeah, he was the nerd with the glasses.
Oh, I thought you meant he was actually in it.
No, Jonah Hill.
As soon as I left that theater, because I was with Mikey, my buddy from college, who's a diehard, like refuses to move out of certain parts of New York because of its distance from Citi Field, like diehard Mets fan.
Okay.
And I said, well, that was really interesting and like cool how he did, analytics and all this stuff. But like, if every team does that, doesn't it like nullify that? Like if every team started doing that, that just makes everything equal again. And then like, what are you gonna do?
If they all follow the same stuff, it could. They don't follow all the same.
They
analytics.
don't, but they all follow.
Yeah.
Like the Yankees, you saw, and I don't know how serious he is. There was that minor league player who they interviewed like right as the Yankees were doing really bad, and he was like, because he was a Yankees minor leaguer, and he was like, dude, strikeouts, it wasn't even on there.
It was serious.
It's like it wasn't even on their clipboard of like as you were playing.
Don't care.
It wasn't even on there. They could give a shit less about strikeouts, and I'm like, well, dude, I would take
my issue with it is the reason why they follow it now. The reason they say is because to optimize the game and this and that, but it seems like the reason is they use that because they don't have to get as good of players, especially with the changes to the playoff system, format and stuff like that.
I think that's a big mistake too.
They don't have to pay as many good players, top tier players, the money anymore, and they still can be competitive to make the playoffs because 55 teams make the playoffs now.
Wasn't this the second year in a row that all the teams that got a bye in the playoffs all lost?
All lost, yeah.
Like I think they all lost.
The bye week is tough to.
Yeah, I don't think they should do that either.
No,
because here, and this is the thing, the NBA does it too. College football does it. I guess the NFL they can't really add more games. they really can't. But they think like, oh well, what's more exciting for fans? Well, playoffs are more exciting. So what if we just add more playoffs? But I'm like, dude, you can't do that. That takes away what's special about it. If you added another Super Bowl, you would not get the same amount of people twice. That's not it's a dumb thing to think about. And I guarantee, and this was the lowest watched Super Bowl World Series in the past 10 years.
Longer than that.
Nobody watched it.
It was the lowest rated, the lowest viewed since the since they started televising World Series.
I hate when businessmen get involved in something like this.
Right.
Now, if you're a Steve Cohen...
it's for the money.
If you're a Steve Cohen and you're like, all right, now we have money. This also, I am way richer than this team. I don't rely on this team to make me money. This is just, I'm a Mets fan. So, take this money and go out and, buy the best equipment, the best guy. I'm okay with that kind of stuff happening. If you want to just, throw money at your team. But when businessmen, because I work in a corporate environment.
You are a businessman. And
when I see, I got to get the easy pass ready. CEOs who are all about we don't really need to worry about revenue. We need to worry about, just top line, because top line will make our owners happy. But I'm like, that's not healthy though.
Right.
It's not the way to do business.
Financial thinking.
I can't stand that those goddamn nerds that all went to finance school now work for the Yankees.
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually, watching Moneyball, there was a part of it where these guys, all the scouts that he fired, were like, listen, there are things that you can't calculate, and if you look at it, the A's have not won a World Series because all this is a game of averages. It's we will by doing this, we will average 90 wins a year and get a playoff berth. But to win playoffs and to win a World Series, there needs to be moments of magic. And your average player who gets on base a lot because he walks is not going to make moments of magic. A Derek Jeter, a Tino Martinez, a Pedro Martinez, even and I can't even stand him, Altuve. These are the guys who make magic happen.
I don't know how I feel about that term, making magic.
But you know what I mean? Bottom of the ninth, you're down to 2-1, and if you...
I'm familiar with scenarios that require magic.
Yeah, so then why do you not like... But you know what I mean? There is a sense of magic there.
Yes.
Hold on, I gotta do the easy pass.
All this to say is...
Am I an idiot, or am I making good points?
You're making points.
All right.
Brian Cashman came out, guns blazing. It's like Hal Steinbrenner said, here's what I said, so let's line up. And it's almost like somebody else, one of Cashman's old college buddies, gave him a list of quotes and said, I bet you won't say these quotes to the press. And he's like, I bet you I will. And the first thing he said was, he goes, I think our team is pretty fucking good, personally. And right as soon as he said that, I was like, Creature sent me a picture of Cashman with that quote, and I thought it was from one of those like parody Instagram pages where it was a joke. And
I said all the Dan Campbell quotes from the NFL where he's like, "Oh, I lived in a cave for 6 weeks."
Right, and I was like, "This is a joke, right?" He goes, "I wish it was," but then he goes on and talks about how he believes in the coaching staff was good, his analytics guys are good, the players are good. But it's also not my fault. He was pretty much like, it's your fault that they weren't as good, but the team is good, damn it. Like, it was a wild press conference. It was like something that somebody would say when they know that they're not going to get fired. They're just like, I'll say whatever I want. No one's going to say anything.
He's not his father. Like, say what you want.
No, Cashman said this, not Hal.
Well, I mean, Cashman, listen to this.
He stinks.
Everyone wants to attribute Cashman. Oh, the dynasty.
No, he's not.
The dynasty, he started in 98. Who did he add? He had, in my mind, Brian Cashman has one World Series that he bought with A-Rod and Giambi.
And I wish he would do that again.
Yeah.
I just want to win World Series.
That's all George Steinbrenner is like. I don't care how we do it. We're here because Hal Steinbrenner came out when they were like really shit in the bed. And didn't he say something like, I
don't know what the fan.
I don't know what your problem is. We make it the playoffs every year. It's like, dude, who cares? So do the Dodgers.
And but the Dodgers are trying. They're paying their players.
But it's like, I mean, you can stay left.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
I'm like, well, I also think, I mean, I don't want to go into this too long, but
I'm gonna keep talking.
Social media and like these things have played a part in this because, especially for teams like the Giants, the Yankees, the Cowboys, like a lot of these like big market teams, fans aren't going to the games because they're overpriced and their team stinks.
The problem is they're still going to the games.
Fans aren't. People go because it's an event. Now people are traveling. I know so many like Instagram idiots who couldn't name you 3 players on the Yankees and went to like 10 games this year.
Probably.
You know, they're wealthy, white chicks and they're fucking dudes. And they don't know a fastball from a fast car. Shout out to Tracy Chapman for winning CMA this year. And the song Fast Cars.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she won a country. Is she in country music?
She did Fast Cars. It's a country song.
Is that a country song?
Yeah. He's got a fast car.
I know the song.
But then who's the big guy that I like? Luke Combs?
Yeah. Jelly Roll?
Jelly Roll.
I like Jelly Roll.
From the 50s?
Yeah.
According to Phyllis. But yeah, and I think that like, they're not worried because like we're making so much money that like we don't need to change this because the fans are happy. It's like they're not fans, dude. They're people who just come, take a bunch of pictures in their Aaron Judge jersey, and they leave in the 5th inning.
They don't care. They're not saying because the fans are happy. They're saying because our bottom line is fat.
Yeah. So that's the last I'm going to say.
Yeah. Bottom line, the real bottom line is they stink and they're a disappointment and an embarrassment, and the Giants stink too, and that's the current events we're going to talk about today. With that, we'll get to the good stuff. We'll step to the cage.
Okay, let's run.
Okay, since I'm driving, and the last few times I tried to do sponsor reads while driving, it's dangerous. So, you got the read.
Well, because we were in Philly for the race this week, we actually got the chance to you got the chance. You're the manager of this operation, and just your sidekick on occasion. We got to visit the beautiful Club Ragu, and they offered us a sponsorship. But we had to read it. We had to read the what's it called, the ad read. So come on down to Club Ragu in beautiful downtown Philadelphia. If you're looking for a sultry time with some steamy sauce, check out the nighttime adventures of delicious Club Ragu. Enjoy our VIP room, which means vodka sauce and penne. Get a sultry lap dance from one of our beautiful courtesans, like Sienna Gambino Brajol or the lovely Renee Ricotta. Fill your deepest desires and your stomach at beautiful Club Ragu.
Any promo codes?
No, they didn't.
It's pretty exclusive.
They're running at a loss, so like they can't offer coupons.
Yeah, when they're pumping out raviolis,
they're giving you a lap dance and sauce. They're making no money.
Yeah. I would go to a Club Ragu.
We should. I'm not going to say this should be the first brick and mortar location for Libretti Brothers, but I would take charge of it.
I've been known to,
and I'm not good at a lot, but I can run a retail. location, and I could definitely run a retail location involving sauce.
I was gonna say it's basically retail.
Yeah,
It's sauce peddling.
Ragu retail.
Yeah. All right. So the Cage fact. We're gonna rewind the clocks a little bit back to Vampire's Kiss. This is a movie we've talked about in depth a lot of times on the show here. A fantastic film. Go see it. Wild. Fantastic in the fact that you're gonna want to watch it, but not because it's a good movie. And I'm being as objective as possible. It's not a good movie, but it's a good movie.
Johnny, I was gonna say, do you like lie detector tests? And the FBI asks you, do you think Vampire's Kiss is a good movie? What are you... Not do you like it. Like, do you think that Vampire's Kiss is a good movie? You're going to say no.
No, but I love it.
Okay.
And any self-respecting Cage fan would also love it, not because it's a good movie.
I mean, it's on his Mount Rushmore of, like, Cageiest.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, the most Cage.
For sure. So, there was a scene in the movie, if you haven't watched it, there's a scene... His character, for whatever reason, has a lot of sex. Does a lot of sex with a lot of women. I don't know how. He's not a very, likable guy. His character is not a likable character, but he's bringing women back to his brownstone on a rig. And he's got this gal in his room, in his apartment, and all of a sudden, I guess, a bat flies in. And then I think the bat bites him, and that's what sort of starts the whole "how you doing," right?
Or wasn't it Jennifer Beals?
Was it Jennifer Beals?
He gets bit. There's a lot of stuff going on.
She bites him. I don't know if she was there when the bat bit him. Anyway, this bat bites him. In the commentary, he did an interview. He was doing like a post-movie commentary with the director, and the director told the story with Nic Cage in the room about how serious Cage was about the authenticity of things in the movie. Like we talked about in one of the Cage facts back in the day that he ate a real cockroach in that movie.
Twice.
2 cockroaches. And he wanted a real bat flying around in the room and not one of the robotic bats because they're not realistic looking. And I'm pretty sure it didn't look that real in the movie.
I don't remember the movie. I blacked it out.
He had his assistant, or he tried to have his assistant go at night around, was it Central Park?
Yep.
To find a bat and catch this bat, corral a bat, and bring it in, pretty much like bag one.
Golden corral a bat.
Yeah, in a potato sack, bring it back, and then release it into the room once I said action. And he had it, like the director and other people had to not just convince him, but explain to him that you can't have a real wild bat because you could get legit rabies. Yeah. This is a movie. And he can't just give people rabies like that flying around a set.
Now,
so he eventually agreed to, he's like, fine, I guess we'll do a robot bat. But he was prepared. He was ready to take on a real bat.
As amazing as, it's like a half of one, 6 a dozen of the other. If Nic Cage...
Wait.
I know. That's
6 of one.
I say it on purpose. Like,
do you?
Yeah, like we say rocket surgery.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's make it sure.
If Nic Cage died because he got rabies trying to fight a real bat in a movie, it's the way he should go. But if he did it in that movie, we're robbed of so many.
Right, that's
like Firebirds.
If he does it
robbed
now,
of so many great performances.
Firebird was the Apache helicopter.
Yeah, it was Top Gun
helicopters.
helicopters.
Yeah, tremendous film. Terrible film.
Tommy Lee Jones was in it.
Was he?
Yeah, he was, and he was like supposed to be the old man, but he was like 38.
But he never looks anything.
Yeah,
he looked the same.
He looked the same way he does now. He looked like Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can't fly this helicopter anymore because you're an old man. I'm like, dude, he's not even 40. Like,
yeah.
Relax.
He is old.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the Cage fact. So we'll move it on over to the junction. We'll spin the logo up. So we came down to Philly for the Rocky run. I love Rocky. You love Rocky. And they have this run. So we do it.
That's the episode. Thank you very much.
Yeah. The exciting thing, and I'll pop a picture up here if I can take it in time and put it on the screen for you guys to see. During packet pickup, which is the day prior, We go and we pick up our tag numbers, and we get the free the shirt that we, it's part of the sign-up. It's not really free. And then they have some booths there that you can buy sweatshirts and stuff. I think you're wearing one from the last time we ran.
Yeah.
And there's a guy there who does artwork specifically for Rocky. For Stallone and Rocky, and he does it for this too.
He does it for Rambo and Cobra.
I don't know if he only does Stallone artwork.
I gotta check his website again. He does a lot. It's a lot of Stallone. He's buddies.
Right. His name is John Rivoli, and
who sounds like he would be the general manager of Club
Ragu for sure. And he looks like it.
Yeah.
He look like
he'd be the bouncer / general manager. He takes care of his girls.
You could go check out his Instagram page. His website is iconsinart.com. And you can see all his custom work and stuff. And he always he has a booth there, and then on race day he has a booth as well with like whatever people don't buy. And he's got different prints of his artwork. Most of it is just prints, different sizes. One year I got the Rocky versus Drago. That's in the LPDS studio now. And this year he made a piece for Rocky 2, Rocky 1, excuse me. It was the bicentennial fight, him and Apollo Creed.
The first fight.
Now, in the movie, Apollo Creed, there's a scene in the movie where Apollo Creed is in his office talking to his team of top men.
Yeah.
And he has, I think there was a poster in the room, but you don't see it. And he was talking about how that's the promotion he wanted to do, was get the regular guy, and that's essentially the storyline of how he got Rocky. But he wanted to get a regular man to fight to show that he's a man of the people, and he gives everybody a chance at the champion and this and that. But you never see an actual poster of what the fight, because he talked about what he wanted.
The quote was like, "I'm going to put that man's face on a poster next to mine, and everyone's going to see that I'm a man." Like that. Like the poster was like a kind of a plot point.
Right. It was a big plot point there. And they never made the poster. Well, John Rivoli, the artist who's been doing this for who knows how long now, decided, I'm going to, rewatch that scene and the movie and create a poster of what I believe that they were looking for. And he made the poster of the century.
Of the bicentennial?
The bicentennial. And it's and I'll show you again. I'll show you on here if I remember. You got to remind me of Apollo and Rocky, and it's a fantastic piece. And it looks like a 70s piece of artwork, like what a poster would look like.
I was very jealous when you bought that.
It was tremendous.
I was very, very jealous that you bought that.
And Rivoli he's at the booth asking about if you have any questions, let me know or whatever. And I was talking to him about how I love his stuff, and my question is always, which one am I going to get? Because I always want to buy something there. And he was telling us the story about the poster, and then he said, he's like, this is the only one we got. Now, through conversation, it was pretty clear that it was the only one he brought with him. That was the original, the piece there. Everything else that he has for that piece on the website is just a print.
Right.
Of different sizes and options, but the only one he had there was the first one, the big size. In fact, in the camera, you might be able to see the back of it.
Already framed.
Already framed, and he's like, and he had another one that he made too of Rocky in the ring.
Looking at that one, because I was thinking about getting that one. I don't like the quote in the bottom. That wasn't my favorite quote.
I don't remember what the quote said.
It was like, people aren't going to think I'm just some guy from the neighborhood.
He cut me.
There was better quotes that he could have.
Sure.
That he could have utilized.
Yeah, but it was a good painting.
The picture was phenomenal.
The artwork was tremendous.
Sometimes I feel like that, Rocky.
Right, and his, I don't know if it was his wife or a coworker there, were saying, as soon as we set up this station, we were wondering who was going to buy this one, because it's the only one we have. It's a big deal or whatever. And I told him, I was like, listen, I don't know if you're lying to me about it being the only one, but as soon as you said that, in my head, I was like, I have to have this now.
So it was funny. As the guy was talking, very, very nice guy, but as somebody who works in retail, who has worked in retail,
sales,
he was giving you the hard sell. He was like, "Oh, it's the only one," and it was Sly's favorite one, and I fixed.
No, the other one was the favorite one,
and I fixed his shorts, because we even made a comment like, "Oh, well, in the movie, on the picture, like when they hang the banner
It's the wrong color
during the fight,
scheme.
Rocky comments like, "Oh, they put the wrong shorts up," and the promoter's like, "It doesn't matter. You're gonna lose."
Right, but the artist
purposely did the right shorts,
everything.
So, but I was just like, I'm like, look at this. These are awesome. And if I had the money, I would have bought them both. But I was also like, this guy's giving it. So as he was finishing up finishing up the spiel, I was literally about to say, "All right, man, we're just gonna look around a little bit," like what I said, like, "Oh, we're gonna look around a little more. Thank you very much."
No,
and then before I could open my mouth, Johnny was like, "I'll take it."
Yeah, and you can back me up or dispute it. I said to him, like, I don't know if you're just giving me the line or lying to me, but I don't care because now I'm having it, like I'm buying this piece. And then he did, like, he followed up the hard sale with the, like, what you would do if you were telling the truth also. So he could have just been a really good liar. I don't care. Like, I don't care if he sold me. I was buying it anyway. But after, he's like, "Oh, I got to get a picture of this. Take a picture." And then I took a picture with him, and I took a picture with you. And he's like, "I got to send this to Sly." And then
we both came.
And then we were walking out, of course.
Yeah.
And then we were walking out, and then I think that was his wife or something came up, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're the one who bought it." I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "We were wondering who was gonna be the one." And she goes, "Hey John, make sure you get a picture." He's like, I got it. Yeah. So I don't know, like, if that was the game that they were playing, they played it well, but they didn't have to. I was getting it. Like, they didn't have to.
Here's my thing. I think if I had the money, like if I had your money, and you're not like, whatever, but like you're better financially than I am.
Yeah. In case anyone's trying to scam me with Nigerian prince stuff, I don't have the money.
But I do have a Nigerian prince locked in my basement. He's been emailing people for 20 years.
Right.
Regardless of the spiel, if I was a little more comfortable in my finance, I just would have bought it because it was
tremendous.
The size of it with the frame, I'm like, and it was signed by the artist. I'm like, it wasn't. I don't know if you want me to say the price.
It was like $200.
It was $200. It was worth.
It's not that much money for artwork.
It was like it was worth the thing without the spiel. So like, I don't think you didn't, even if he was like giving you a line, you didn't get scammed. It wasn't like a scam. It wasn't like as soon as you left, he brought out another one just like it and then sold it to another guy.
Yeah, for less money or something like that. No, the price was good. It was also consistent with the other stuff. Like, it made sense. So I was no problem with that, but I was very excited that we're walking home with something.
Yeah. I mean, you're walking home with something.
Well, we got your medals.
Okay.
And we ran the race. It was nice and sunny out today. Real gorgeous day for running. If you're a runner, this is almost a perfect weather because it was cold enough that even when you were warm, like running through the end of the race and getting all tired and warmed up, you weren't dying.
I was dying that. I mean, there was a lot of things going on that last mile, but I was actually starting to feel a little hot. But like the sun was, at that point it was like what 10:30. Like the sun was in perfect spot. We were no longer in shit. Like running a lot of it, you're like running around through trees and stuff.
Yeah. But you're also fighting dehydration a little bit, running a lot, overexerting yourself. I mean, it was a half marathon.
Yeah.
So the way the race is split up, for those who don't know, most of the people listening, you guys have heard us talk about this in the past. It's two runs. It's two races. There's a 5K you could sign up for, a 10-miler, and then both. That's the Italian Stallion Challenge. We did both. The 5K, we ran pretty solid all the way through. The full, no stopping for that one. That was good. And we had a good pace there. And then the 10-miler, here's the thing I'll say before you take over the podcast with whatever you got to say about yourself. It's a half marathon. It's 13.1 miles. That's in itself, and I know there's Cam Haynes is out there and David Goggins and these ultra marathoners who are running hundreds of miles in races and this and that and whatever. That's a very small fraction of a percentage point of people in this country alone that do that. For the regulars out there, for most of us here in the LPDS universe, 13 miles is a long run. That's a far distance. It sounds so stupid to run 13 miles. Just drive. So it is a tough thing to do. not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. It's because you got to train for it, which means you got to run a lot beforehand, and you got to make sure your diet's right, and your stretches, you're not hurting yourself, and this and that. All this stuff goes into it. It is the reason why I sign up for this crap is because it's so hard and difficult every time. It never gets easier for me, and it breaks me out of my comfort zone every time, and it gives me that sense of accomplishment, that the fact that I finished something like that's difficult, that other people aren't doing, and it expands the comfort zone. There's a lot of things, a lot of positives that come out of the whole experience. I hate running, though, so I'm not saying, like, you should go out and run and do this. No, I don't recommend anybody do this. I think running is stupid. It's hard. I stink at it. It hurts, and I don't like doing it, and that's why I do it, because I need something like that to challenge myself. The fact that you do it, given your history in life and size, is more than impressive. The problem with other people around in your circle of life is that the expectation is that, if you sign up for it, you should just be able to succeed very well at it with, you sign up for it, so you should be able to do it. And if you don't meet their standards, people get, like, oh, you failed this. Now, we ran slow. Our pace was, ended up being, I think, we got 36 minutes for the 5K total. So it was like 11:40 pace, something like that. And then we got 2 hours and 25 minutes for the 10 miler. So I can't do math off the top of my head.
I think it was probably close to 14.
So it's slow if you're a runner. If you do these and you compete at them and you're trying to run them, that's slow time. It's certainly, this, slower than my fastest half marathon. We ran slow. But you finished the race every time. And you did better than you did the first time you ran it, when it was like you didn't run it. We had to basically, carry you almost. Back when you were heavier and not out of shape and didn't really train for
honestly think, and listen, I tried to start earlier this year. I hurt my leg in like July. It's because I'm out of shape and I don't stretch properly, so that's on me. I trained a lot. I did 9 miles, 8 miles, 7 miles. I didn't do a 10-mile run, training run. But I was 6 minutes total over my last race, and I don't think we stopped, not including like the break between the races, which, by the way, we wouldn't really stop for, because like we had a rush. We had a rush
in between races today, in between runs.
So we did that first 5.5 miles of this race. We did straight through, because then you said like, oh, let's do 2 miles and then we can stop by like a water thing.
It was like 2.25.
It was 2.5. Well, I was able to push it out to a half. And then the next mile we did fine, but then there was a secret hill that wasn't there originally. And then, so the first 7 miles were very much within the pace we were looking at.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Then right around mile 4 of the 10 miles, so the 6 miles left, something popped in my leg. It's not like the worst pain where it was like when I pulled my hamstring in July and I couldn't walk. This was like, it was very painful, but like I could move, and I knew that like I'm not gonna hurt it any worse. And how I go into every one of these races is, after this, if I don't want to, I never have to run again.
Right.
I'm not an NFL player where like, oh, I got to save myself for practice next week.
For my career.
Yeah. So I kept running. Not great, but I kept moving. And to be only 6 minutes, which is less than a minute a mile, over my last time where I trained really hard, I think was like fun. I think without the leg problem, I probably would have gotten even with last time.
I think the last time you ran it, I think your training this year was more successful. You had better run times in your training this year than you did the last time you ran it. But you couldn't do the long run, or you didn't do it. I don't know if you couldn't or not.
I mean, I did 9. Like not. if you could do 9, you could do 13. That's my thing.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I did 9 and I did 13. Like for the training for the first race, I didn't train really at all. The longest run I did was like 8 miles on a treadmill like a month before, and then like never did anything.
The first
else.
race was a full-on bullshit program.
Yeah.
Like it was a full, like your training was sitting down and writing notes on how I can beat the system with my watch and the treadmill and looking like I'm training and I'm not. The other two
I was
times,
also
and this
pushing
time you were
300 pounds at that race.
Right. You're a big guy.
Yeah.
Some would say fat.
I would say fat. I'm saying it all the time.
I would too.
Nice.
The only thing I would say is disappointing about your run today is not that you didn't go as fast as I want to go, obviously. It's because I think that you could do better. Not sub 2 hour half marathon or anything like that. I think you need to obviously lose more weight to be able to get that light, because running with that weight, even if you have good aerobics,
my cardio held up. It was not a cardio issue.
Yeah, you got tired at the end, and like most people should.
Yeah, I literally at mile 13, I was a little winded. But for the rest of it, like my cardio, like I wasn't like really breathing that heavy. Like I was holding up in that end.
Right. The two things I were disappointed is, one was there were times at the end where your jog pace was slower than when we were walking. And that actually hurts you more. Like that's what hurt me the most physically today, was running slower than I normally do. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a mental thing or something with my muscles and stuff, but it hurts you more. Like it's like more of an effort to go that slow, but in a jogging motion, than it is to just walk.
Right.
And then the fact that I think you have the potential to get a sub 2:30 half marathon time overall. You don't have to do, like, I'm not going to say you should do it again, but I'm saying that's what was disappointing specifically. Otherwise, you're a 200 something pounds.
50. You
have barely an athletic bone in your body. No one expects you in our circle of life to do anything more than a 5K anyway. So the fact that you did it is super impressive. What's disappointing
I did run most of the, like, there wasn't like
you were doing running motion most of the time.
Yeah, it was. I'm telling you, it was really as we approached mile 5, and then with the Mount Drago, and it's every single time, every single race, Mount Drago killed me.
Yeah.
It really, and for those of you who don't really like run, and I know this is like basic, I guess it'd be physics, right?
I don't know what you're gonna say.
Running on the slightest incline is dramatically harder than running flat. Like, honestly is, especially when you're a bigger guy, because now, like, gravity is pushing your fat. Like you're running against your own weight.
Back and to the left.
Yeah.
It's a JFK joke for you folks out there.
And so, I mean, obviously, I would assume, and I could be wrong here, if Mount Drago didn't exist and we just had to run keep running the route we were running for the same amount of miles, those 13 miles, because that was like a mile and a half of that mountain. And also, coming down, that mountain is so steep. Coming down that mountain is not easy either.
I try to tell you.
Like, it's not, because like you have these weird steps where like your legs hurt because you're on such an incline.
Because the weight is bringing you down, and you have to brace yourself with your legs. And if you're tired and also heavier, it's it makes it hard.
I think without that mountain, I definitely beat. I mean, I would 100%. I definitely beat any other time I've ever done by a decent amount.
Yeah.
I want to say that added 15 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes onto my total race time, because not only...
that's a lot of time.
Well, not only was, we were doing 12, 13s up until the mountain, then to the top of the mountain was like 16. So there's an extra 4. And then your legs are so shot the rest of the race. Like the last 2 miles, I would tell Johnny, I would be like, all right, man, like, you know, I would see on my watch, like, all right, we have 2 miles left, like, I'm going to run the next half mile, we're going to run it. It's like fully confident, like, all right, we'll stop, you know, we'll slow down to like half a mile, I'll take a break. I would go for like 0.2 miles, and then my legs just like didn't want to work anymore. Like they were literally just, they had not, especially the pain in my right leg, but there was like no juice left. Like when I slowly jogged the last 0.3 miles across the finish line, there was literally nothing more I could have done. Like mentally, physically, emotionally, magically.
Mentally, I disagree with. Physically, like that is where I would like to see you power through mentally, because I don't know about the injury or the pain, if it's an injury or not. The jelly legs that's where you have to turn your brain into an animal and just be like, screw the jelly legs, I'm just going.
I wasn't telling you like, oh, can we slow down again? I was getting legitimately mad at myself. We would like do 0.25 instead of a half. Yeah, that could have been
an act. Okay. You were a thespian for quite some time in high school.
Hey,
weren't you in
Brigadoon?
Yeah, Brigadoon.
No, but because I'm the same way when I would tell you, I was the same way when I do my training runs. If I would like do a hill in a training run and then it would like flatten out and I would be like exhausted and then think I'm like gonna be fine the rest of the way, and then I would see like another small hill, I would like get very dejected. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Defeated. And it's
mentally
like,
defeated.
Like, why? Like, stop making more hills.
That's why I like when you do this stuff, because it pushes you mentally as well. That is the reason I do this stuff, because it's a kick in the dick. Whether you train and you're like, I'm ready for this, then something happens and you're like, shit. That's the point of it. Like, you gotta power. That's why I kept saying, like, you got, like, just keep going. Like, you just gotta get it in your mind, like, just assume every mile there's gonna be something that I didn't expect, like another obstacle, and we're just gonna do it.
Oddly enough, regardless of times, out of all the long runs I've done for the races and then the training for the races are always the fastest in my mind. Like, it goes by the quickest.
I mean, there's a lot of people there. There's music.
Like, even though I was really shot, seeing like, it's only 1 mile left. It's like, it's only 3 miles left. When I'm doing a training run, like when I did my 9-mile training run, when I had like 4 miles left, I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to finish this. Like, you keep moving, but like I would keep looking at my watch, like, oh my god, there's still so many miles left.
Yeah, because you're alone.
Yeah. So for this one, I mean, I also have like a weird way of doing things in my mind in terms of like parsing out time. Like, after the 5K, which was 3.1 miles, I'm like, all right, so like we're 1/4 of the way done with all the running. Like, I only got to do what I just did, just about 3 more times, and I did it 1 more time.
Yeah.
And I did it 1 more time solidly.
And then you did 2 other portions, 2 other forts at a different time.
Yeah. But yeah,
what? I stopped to go to the bathroom. So what I did was,
I
ran ahead.
I was actually in a good mindset, because it took you a while to like. I thought I was doing well, because I'm like, Johnny's been gone for like 20 minutes. I must be cooking. You were probably like having a sandwich.
No, I was waiting in that line. This guy, there was 3 people ahead of me at this single portage on there. I just had to take a leak.
Right.
I got to go quick pee, and I was, and the 2 people went, and then the 3rd guy went, who was right in front of me.
You want to get off exit 11.
And he was dropping a bomb in there. And I walked in to just do my business real quick, and I almost got knocked out. Because it was like, it's a portage on, there's no flushing, and that thing's sitting on the top. And I walked in, I was like, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to finish this race. This guy's killing me. I almost ran out and hit him. I was like, what did you do in there? Why didn't you do this before?
I guarantee that guy beat me. I guarantee that guy, lost 3 or 4 pounds and was right.
He was light. I'm telling you, I looked at that and I was like, this guy's light.
Yeah.
But I want to kill him for that.
But I was actually happy because...
And then I had to catch up to you.
Yeah, well, because we had a set thing, I was going to be like, it was like we were approaching... So mile 5 was like just at the start of the mountain. And then you went to take a dump...
The hill.
Johnny, it's big. Like let's not mince words here. It's a big hill.
It's a steep hill. It's a very steep hill.
And it's not just like going straight up and going straight down. It's like we had to go wrap around the entire thing.
Now, I know you got annoyed with me a couple days ago when we were driving in town in Jersey, and you were showing me your route, and I chuckled when you're like, this is the hill that I do for the training, and I laughed, and I think you got annoyed at me because I knew that the other thing, the race hill is
I know that the race hill is bigger than that. There was also another hill because they changed the route this year.
We walked up that hill.
That was on you, by the way. I was jogging up and you were like, slow down, I don't want you to bust your nut.
Yes. And what if you ran up that hill? Because you're already complaining about it.
Won the whole race.
You were already saying, they sprung this hill on it like they built it just for the race.
But so you went to go to the bathroom at like, it was past the turn point, 4.5, and then we met up on the, like, not at the top of the hill, but like on the way up the hill.
Halfway up the hill.
And I ran from when I dropped you off, and then I saw the sign for the hill, and I'm like, man, how impressed would Johnny be if he came upon me on this hill and I was still running? And so I kept jogging. I didn't walk up the hill, I kept jogging. And then it was like taking a while, and I'm like, he better fucking show up soon. Like, I can't keep this up. And then, like, I think within a few minutes of you getting there, I'm like, all right, we're gonna slow down now. Like, we take a break. But I was supposed to stop at 5. I want to say that we kept moving to 5.5. I have to look at things in a very like short, like half mile. I have to make it like digestible. You know what I mean? Is like, you know, if we're taking a walk and then I'm like, all right, I got a little juice back on my legs. I'm like, because
that's the mental thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then like that hill, like, regardless of the pain in my one leg, which is still very, very bad. My other leg is fine now, by the way. Like I said, if both legs felt like this, I wouldn't run another race. But like, I could push out a 12-minute mile right now if like with this leg.
What do you say?
No, I'm serious. Well, because also we disagree, and this is a very me thing, and I'm definitely wrong in it. Hold on, let me get the easy pass here. To me, walking is not a break, and I realize for runners it is, because they don't stop really at all, like actual runners. Like the people who are winning the New York City Marathon, like they don't stop at all.
Well, when you're walking faster than you're running, it's not a break. You're right.
When I train run and I leave my watch going, when my legs start feeling like that, I just stop for like 30 or 40 seconds. I just stop moving and like let the whatever come back into my legs a little bit. This was consistent pain for the entire time. They never got a break. That's how I should be training.
Yes.
But I remember when I did my 9-miler, when I hit 4, and that was after I did my version of the hill, and that it was tough. Like I was struggling on that 4th mile, and then I stopped for 1 minute. I let the clock run. Stopped for 1 minute, ate some pretzels, and like downed a half bottle of water, and just sat by the
half sub,
right by the entrance to my complex, and then I went back out and did the same route again. And after I did a couple hills and everything, and I was like struggling, my next 2 miles were like 12.5s. And so that gave me a confidence, like, yeah, if I just stop for like a little bit and just like get some feeling back on my legs, I can go do this consistent pace again. Which is why towards the end I was like trying to stop. I was like to stretch. I'm like, just give me 30 seconds.
There was one time you're like, hey, I gotta stretch real quick, and then you just stood there. And I was like, because I was like, are you stretching? Like, because
I was only telling you. I was telling you, like, because you would be, if I just said like I need to stop for a minute just to stop, you would yell at me. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stretch.
I would not have yelled at you. It's the lies. And I always go back to that. It's not the fact that like I always say, I always joke with friends, like, I don't care if you're gay, but if you're gonna lie to me about being straight, it's the lies that hurt. Don't just say, hey, I gotta stop. I gotta stop, but don't say I gotta stretch and then just stand there like, you want a pretzel? Like, no, I want you to stretch, dude.
I also didn't. I feel like last race we ate more during the race. I didn't eat anything. Like I had like think I had one of the pretzel sticks. I feel like last race you were constantly like feeding me to like give me energy and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't. But you didn't need the energy here. You needed
to stop.
You needed to stop, and you needed the mental energy. Because your legs, you were not complaining about jelly legs until the very end.
Yeah, it was. I started complaining about the jelly legs.
You were complaining about the Phantom Hill that they built this morning.
I was pissed. I was so mad at them for changing the course like that.
And you're like, I can't believe they did this. Like because
I didn't prepare for that. I didn't prepare for a whole other big hill. It was a big hill. I'm begging.
That's why I kept telling you. I was like, I kept pointing in my head because that is what you have to try to work through. Not that you can't physically do it. You can do it. You've done it already. But when shit like that hits you in life, that is the point of these stupid races. Is not so you can get in shape and run. I don't want you to run. I don't want you to hurt yourself. This is going to help you in life.
I'm not, and this is not a confirmation that I will ever do this again, because 95% chance I will not. But if I did, I would need a year to train, because I need 6 months. You can't lose weight while training for a run like this. I mean, you can, but like it's not great, because because running like this is not really like.
No, but you just got to do more.
That's
the
thing.
You got to do other stuff.
I have to do more, and I'm like, I'm already doing this. I'm not doing more.
Right.
Like, I would do like a 2-mile run, and then Ryan would be like, oh, you want to go to the gym later? I'm like, nah, I ran this morning.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But I would like to, I was planning on already, like, spending the next 6 months, like, really focus on my weight, doing a high cardio, doing a lot of boxing with Ryan. Like, if I can get down to 220.
You wouldn't have to do a lot of cardio. You have to do the right kind of cardio.
Right. But if I can get down to 220 and then start running and see, like, how much difference that, I mean, I'm sure it would make it 30 pounds.
What are you, 6 feet?
6'1"?
If you could be 215 to 225, but like not a soft meatball 225, like a tight, muscular, fit 225, that is peak Styxx. That's where you want to be. So don't think of it as like I'm losing 25 pounds or whatever just to lose the weight. You want to be. You're probably going to have to lose, like I would go down to 200 and then build up to 225 of just hurting bombs.
I know. But honestly, I've lost 80 pounds in my life already. I don't know if and I will say this, I don't know if I have the mental strength for another 50 pounds of weight loss. I think 25 I could definitely do. Another 50 I don't know. I honestly don't. That's even more major life changes that I would have to make, and I already don't drink.
That's the thing, is it's not though. You don't have to do much. You just have to be more consistent.
Can I have chips?
No, that's it. You got to cut your. What about like cut the chips, and you got to cut like the stuff that you say is like low, like low carb or whatever it was, and it's really not. Like risotto, like what you said. I remember, like, we have to joke about this because you ended up getting hurt that week anyway. So you had or you said you got hurt. I don't know what happened, but you had a thing with your pal Ryan.
Can we just say, with the exception of my leg being hurt, whether you believe it or not, I ran this enough that, like, I ran this well enough that, like, you have to believe that I trained now. Like, you were skeptical that I wasn't training. When you yelled at me the other week, you were like, I don't even know if you're training. I don't even know if this is real. I ran it in essentially the same time I did last time, which is a huge improvement. So, like, obviously I had to have trained for this.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I wanted. We're done now.
We didn't train mentally, though.
Okay.
Anyway, you had this week with your pal Ryan where you were like, what was it? Like, if I can eat clean the whole week and then train and work out and go to the gym with him and then do the running, you were going to go get, what, a deep dish? You were going to give yourself self-treat again?
Yeah. I never got the deep dish.
Yeah. And then literally the next day, we talked like on a Sunday. And then that Monday, you posted a picture. You outed yourself. You posted a picture of your meal, and it was basically risotto with potatoes.
No,
like
it was no potato. It was risotto. It was a risotto-esque thing with
rice,
with grilled chicken.
Yeah, it was a piece of chicken and a lot of rice, a lot of risotto.
wasn't really Brazil.
And I texted you. I was like, "Is this real?" You're like, "Yeah." I was like, "What? Where's the clean eating? What happened to the clean eating?" You're like, "Normally I would just eat the risotto." So that's what I like. If you actually ate clean 80% of the time instead of Styxx clean, you'd be surprised how much more steadily you would lose the weight. And then if you hit the gym and actually like work out aggressively, not stupidly, but aggressively, like with weightlifting, not taking 5 to 10 minute breaks in between sets. Not saying you do, but like you're going for an hour, working out hard. You're gonna get where you want to actually go, like the actual goal of losing all that weight. It's the toughest part is the consistency, is the discipline to do it.
I mean, I blame mom and dad. They made me like this.
Well, we had the same mom and dad here,
but
fella.
you never had an appetite. I had one, and they indulged it.
I had an appetite. You ate it.
Yeah. You can finish that?
Yeah. So I don't know what you want me to say.
No, but like they dude, we would go to like Longhorns or like Outback as like kids, and I was doing a whole soup, all the bread in the basket, and then like a whole rack of ribs and fries and a couple of root beers. And they like never stopped me. I'm like, yeah. So that's how I got used to it. And then I went to college. Forget about that. You know what I mean? You would skip meals. You would forget to have lunch.
I wouldn't forget. I just wouldn't eat it. I was hungry.
I'm always hungry.
Yeah, but that's still not. It's their fault when you were a kid.
It's me.
As an adult, it's not their fault anymore because you don't live with them anymore.
I think it is weird where all of my fat is situated because it's really only in one spot.
Yeah, it's your gut.
It's just there. Like
your side haunches, like back rib.
Yeah, but like my legs, there's not an ounce of fat on my legs, my arms. No, literally. You could look. My legs are actually very solid. They're not like big like I do squats, but they're solid legs. Like if you hit them, there's not like a lot of ripples going through. And I don't even really have a fat. If you slap it and it like
it shakes.
Yeah. And I don't really have a fat face either. I have a fat back of the head, but I think that's something else.
Like a tumor?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's mostly your gut, which is also like
the worst place
to lose.
Yeah, it's the hardest to lose.
But if you combine legit disciplined diet, you don't have to restrict much more. Like it's not like you're restricting too much.
Right.
You just have to tighten it up consistently enough, and your workouts have to be consistent and disciplined.
Is soup allowed
throughout the week?
What kind of soup can I have? Can I have a beef barley soup?
I don't know. What? Who's making it? What's in it? We don't have to get into the semantics at all.
Beef broth, vegetables.
Soup is not a meal. Like, I don't know what your fascination with soup is.
How about tomato soup sans grilled cheese?
Well, we all know you ate the grilled cheese.
I ate the grilled cheese.
Nobody makes a grilled cheese, cuts it fresh,
my friend
puts it next to soup, and then takes a picture of it and then says, I didn't eat the grilled cheese, though. I gave it to a friend.
I did.
You ate the grilled cheese.
I didn't eat the grilled cheese.
I know you did. Cringer knows you did. There's no evidence of the grilled cheese other than the picture, which means there's only one place it could go.
I did not eat the grilled cheese. No, I literally, because my friend at work, she likes when I make tomato soup. Her and her husband, when they had COVID last year, I made them a big thing of tomato soup, and I made croutons for them. So I'm like, I'm trying to get chicks, so you got to post food pictures on Instagram because that's all I got going for me is that I can cook. So when I made it, I'm like, people are gonna give me shit for the tomato soup without a grilled cheese. So I texted
those people.
So I texted my friend
in your life.
I texted my friend.
Those are not people.
I'm like, will you and Ekram, her husband, like split a grilled cheese if I make it for you? And she said, yeah. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, I made it for the picture, and then I just put it in foil and put it in the fridge, and then gave her a container of soup the next day.
So you made 2 grilled cheeses.
I made one grilled. They split it. 1 grilled cheese.
No, you ate one.
I did.
And then you gave it one.
I didn't eat it
because you promised them you're gonna make them. Well, you're like, damn, now I gotta make 2 grilled cheeses.
Do you know how many grilled cheeses I had to eat this week?
Yeah.
Covering up this lie.
We joked about that where you posted it and you texted me. You said, just to let you know, I didn't eat that grilled cheese.
I knew every time I post something on Instagram, I know that you're gonna say like, oh, what happened to your dog? Oh no, now you're having grilled cheeses. That's not clean eating. And so I'm like, let me cut this off at the pass. I did this for a very shallow reason. So let me just get it out there now. He'll yell at me. He'll accuse me of eating said grilled cheese. Him and his cohorts will gang up. Oh, Styxx eats the grilled cheese.
You ate it.
I didn't eat it.
And then when I asked you for evidence of it, you said, hold on. And then you made another grilled cheese and took that picture. Then you ate that grilled cheese.
That was the second one was on you.
And that's why you were slow today, because you had all these grilled cheeses in you and you're trying to blame other people for it.
Speaking of which, this is the last one.
Yeah. You made a whole loaf of bread worth of grilled cheese.
If you just let it rest, I would have had to eat 6 grilled cheese.
I wouldn't even looked at your story that night because it was later in the day. You brought the attention to the grilled cheese.
To the GC.
You outed yourself again. You would be a terrible criminal. Anyway, long story short, we finished the race. Do you have the medals with you right now?
They're in my bag.
Okay.
Put a picture up.
We got 3 medals. If I remember, I'll put the picture up here. Tremendous medals. We got the painting. That's top tier. It was a good experience. I love that Philly run. I love Philly. I wish it was safer to live in.
Now wait, can I ask you? And I want an honest question, because we had discussed if I hit the certain time that we set for me. Oh, by the way, you want to get off at 7.5 miles on 280 East.
Yeah.
If I hit the time that you had set for me, that you would buy me like a fancy, like one of the icons of art.
Yeah.
For the race, and also because you never gave me a housewarming gift. Which I'm not even bringing. You said we discussed, because you were even asking me which of the Rocky pictures do you want? I'll buy it for you.
Yeah, but there's a statute of limitations on you making.
Which is fine. Which is fine. I understand that.
I'm giving that.
All right. When you bought that, I was like, even if I get the time, which is still not going to be a great time. If I did 10 minutes better today, I would have beat my last time, but it still would have been great.
Right.
I couldn't have taken that for like and I think I even told you, I'm like, if I beat the time tomorrow, we'll buy something at the place, like buy me a hoodie or something. I can't take that. This was too nice for you to give me because I didn't earn it enough. I would have to have run under 2.5.
The problem is the other ones are the same price, so it doesn't. It's not like
I would have like the Ivan Drago one was like 70, like the one you got, but they had like the American version and the Russian version, like the same one you have, the same size you have, but then like the other versions of that,
it's the same price.
That was $200
for the same size with the frame. It is.
Yeah, they get you on frames.
Yeah, the other one I didn't get the frame last time.
Well, you got it framed.
I framed it myself.
Yeah, but how much was that frame?
I don't know, like $40, $25 maybe.
But yeah, this one would.
No, I would have just given this one to you.
No, this one
because I didn't want to pay
you.
more money.
No, but this one belonged to you.
I'll get it. You're gonna die soon anyway, so I'll just get it.
That's not nice to say. I'm gonna outlive you.
If you actually have a disciplined diet and a workout regimen, you should.
I don't know. Healthiest guy there is.
I don't think so.
Relatively healthy.
That race time would suggest otherwise.
There was plenty of people we were passing when I was struggling on that last mile.
Yeah, there were a couple people. I didn't want to say it while we were running, but I was trying to see if I could get your attention, because I didn't want them to hear it either. There were a couple of big guys in front of us. One guy with the bandana.
Yeah.
He was way bigger than you.
But that's what I'm telling you, where like I see these people and I want to beat them too, where I'm like, it's not all mental, dude. I am going as fast as my legs can take me at this point. Like I'm serious. Like I was now, could I have lost weight earlier, trained harder? Absolutely. But especially for that last mile, this was literally as much as my legs would move me. Now I could have walked it. I'm not saying I had to stop like forever, but when we jogged that last like 0.3, there was nothing more I could have done. I promise you that. Earlier in the race, maybe take less breaks earlier, saved up stamina. Could I have done things differently then? Sure. That last mile was treacherous. I literally couldn't move anymore, and that's why I would get frustrated. Like, oh, let's do another half mile, and then I would do a couple of steps and be like, they would jimmy on me.
You gotta power through the Jimmy. That's the wall.
Do you know Jimmy?
I did.
He's dead now.
He didn't power through.
And now he's dead.
So.
But I appreciate you always doing this with me and taking an interest and keeping track on it. Just purely for my own benefit. It's the only reason you do it. It's not like you need a buddy to run these things with. In fact, you would probably prefer not to have one.
I generally prefer to run by myself. In fact,
I think you wanted to go that way.
What?
You wanted to go over there. I guess you can go this way. No, you can swing back around.
Good, yeah.
A little faster.
I don't like running with other people, not because I don't like them.
Well, I don't either. When I found out that my friends wanted to do this too, luckily they were miles ahead of us.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. I was like, guys, you can like run, like if you're gonna be around me, fine. But like, I honestly, I only like running with my brother because, as much as he'll push me and like be mad, but he'll never judge me. And I feel like, not that my friends would, but I feel like other people, I don't know, they judge when they see you struggle. Like, oh well, you can't. Like this is my first time doing this, and I did it better. Not my friends would ever do that, but I feel like people in general just might.
When the group gets bigger of like friends of friends and stuff like that, yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's another thing that building the mental toughness and stuff you'll just stop caring about that crap.
Yeah.
I don't like it because I don't like, there's always an expectation of like, oh, we'll do it together, or we'll do this after, or we'll do this before, and it's like, I don't like hurting people's feelings, but you also know me. I don't have a problem with, like, I'm going to do it. Like, so if you keep saying, like, oh, let's run together, like, no, just go your pace, whether it's slower or faster, I'm just going to run by myself, or I'm not going to meet you guys after, or whatever it is. Like, I want to be...
Thing. I either feel compelled to keep up with them as long as I can, or
it's not what you want to do.
If they're like, oh, no, I'll stay back here with you. Now I'm like, well, dude, you trained for this. You should be going for your best time.
Right. And that is why I very selectively, like, pick. There's, like, 2 people that I run with for races. Bonji and this other guy you don't know.
What's his name? What's his nickname?
He doesn't have... His name is... It's like Cosmo. It's Cosimo, Patsy, and then his last name that I won't give away.
Italian?
He's an Italian. Oh yeah, big time.
Cosimo?
Yeah. Because we run the race for our times. Like when I ran the marathon that one time with Bonji, it was like, I'll see you at the finish line.
Right.
Same with Weasel. When he ran it the one time, the marathon with us, or 2 times we ran it, that we were cool with that. Like, as long as that is communicated and agreed upon going into it, then I have no problem running with people. But it's when they're like, oh, we'll just run together. It's like, no, we won't.
Right.
And then they get butthurt, like, why not? You don't want to run with me? It's like, no, because either I'm going to be too slow and try to keep up with you, or you're going to slow down for me, or vice versa. And that's not what we, like, why would we train for all this stuff just to not run our race?
I would do a 5K with like some friends or like a girl I was dating.
Like a turkey trot or something.
Yeah, but I'm like, because I saw a bunch of couples. Some of the people we were passing were like, well, no, but even now when we finished, I saw a bunch of couples like walking, and I'm like, one of these people doesn't need to be walking right now.
Right.
I'm like, one of them is walking because the other one can't run anymore.
Yeah. Otherwise, I like to do that stuff by myself.
Yeah.
I don't even like
you
people...
you want to get over 145.
I don't even like people coming to watch.
But
like, I usually
told
tell mom and dad if I have a race in the area, I'm like, don't sign up. Like, don't show up.
I told Louis, because Louis, this was his first one. He did amazing, and he was legitimately hurt. He had like tendonitis.
Yeah.
And I think he ended up doing like probably close to 2 minutes better than me a mile. I kept pace with him. We kept pace with him and his wife for the 5K, but then him and his brother-in-law, who was like an actual runner, they just took off on the 10-miler. But he had seen like a bunch of his friends, or some of his friends or relatives or whatever, who did the New York City Marathon last week.
Yeah.
And he was like feeling bad. He's like, oh, they're doing that, and I'm only doing a half. I'm like, dude, I would, and you tell me if this number is crazy. Do you think that there's 1 million people in this country who run marathons? 1 million?
Total,
but you think like 1 million is a good number?
It's a lot.
You think it's less? So let's overestimate and say 1 million.
So I don't know how many people did the New York City. That's not, you don't have to qualify for that, right?
No, I think the New York City you definitely have to qualify. I think that's one of the ones you have to qualify for.
I don't think so. The Boston is.
But let's say let's
the Marine Corps Marathon has like 30,000 people run it.
But how many?
That's considered a big race. So
yeah, how many people run that? Like the people who ran the Marine Corps Marathon, Boston Marathon, and New York, the crossover between that is probably a lot.
It's probably decently high.
I would
at
say
least for the more competitive.
Yeah, I would
folks.
say out of the 30,000 who ran the Marine Corps Marathon, 5,000 at least have run Boston and New York.
Yeah, at least New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's not a lot of runners out there.
Yeah, so let's say a
like
million.
In the grand scheme.
Yeah, let's say a million people do.
I think that's too much.
But let's just on the top end then, because he was feeling bad, like, oh, they did this and I'm only doing this. I'm like, dude, so let's say a million people. That's 1 in 400 people who could do that. I'm like, do you even know 400 people?
Yeah.
And he's
not
like,
to mention the fact that there's a lot of people that walk most of the time. Like I had a friend who would sign up for the Marine Corps Marathon every year, and she would walk with her sister the whole time.
Yeah.
Like fast walk.
So I'm like,
that's like you don't really have to
Yeah.
like you train a little bit for that, so you have your muscle capacity can handle it, but you're not. So
I was telling. So I'm like, dude, what we're doing here is crazy. It's a crazy, stupid thing.
Yeah.
So regardless of his,
it's all relative.
Yeah, and I'm like, how about the guy who won the New York Marathon? Do you think he can compete with a Cam Hanes or with that lady who does like the Moab 200?
Yeah, Courtney DeWalter.
Yeah, like I don't. Those are people who are made in a lab can do that. Like, so does the guy who won the New York City Marathon or the woman who won the women's class? Are they like, oh, I'm not going to run this because these guys are running 200? It's like, no, it's still an amazing, crazy thing.
Yeah.
Going
west?
Yes. My other question, this is my last question for you. And I'm sure the answer is, 100% totally. If you didn't train at all, would you have been just as fine today?
Yeah, I think my only trouble would have been catching up to you after the bathroom break because that line was taking so long, and I booked it to get over to you.
So I could have beaten you.
No, you wouldn't have beaten me. I would have been tired there, but I know within 30 seconds we were going to take a break anyway, so I would have just eaten more pretzels to get some energy, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I'm not going to say that. By the way, anything that I'm claiming deterred my long time is my own doing. It's not like outside forces didn't give me bad shape, so my leg,
right.
So I
that's
pulled
what
up my
I was
leg.
trying to get your
bad forces didn't I could have eaten more pretzels and probably gotten a little more energy towards the end. I think I didn't eat anything, dude. I'm telling you.
I know. I'm saying that's why I don't think that could have been too much because.
You know how to get home now?
Sort of, yeah. Your training was well enough. It's a mental thing. Especially at the end when you get physically tired, you get that's when the test of the mental fortitude hits. And that's what I was trying to get out of your head there was when you were pissed about the secret hill and the other stuff was like it happened. It doesn't. It's gone. Like your anger, because you're burning physical energy now, getting angry.
But you also got to understand. For me to do this.
Yeah, I know you have to be perfect situation, frictionless surface. I got it.
I'm like, I have to be in a zone of this. I know what to expect.
But that's why I like you to keep doing this because I want you to get out of that line of thinking, which takes a long time to do. I want you to get out of that line of thinking of if something 2 hours and 55
something
gets is not expected that happens, I can't let this take over me.
I was so angry.
I know, and that burns energy, physical energy too. Not just you don't just get angry; you're burning energy, stewing about it and focusing on it and talking about it and getting mad over it. You have to.
Do you think the Amish one is easier or harder than this?
I don't know, actually. It's mostly rolling hills, but they're very small hills comparison. But it's not flat at all.
I'm going to Google at some point later today. Flat
what
races.
That one guy did, I saw a guy, during COVID, they were doing a lot of the virtual races, which I was not doing.
Yeah.
He ran a full marathon in his driveway, just back and forth. I think he did 600 back and forths to get to a 26.2 mile.
I would do
That was
something.
flat.
I would do something with the not the treadmill, but that other one where it's like it's your energy is what like makes it move. So
no, you don't want to do that. That one is good for walking and for sprint workouts. If you're just jogging, it's very tough, and it's a different way of running to get it to move.
You gotta get grip on your feet. Like you gotta like grip it almost.
That's tough. Don't do that one.
Yeah, like see this? I don't want to do this.
Yeah. See, I like the tough stuff. Even if my times are slower, I need that to get, like, I need the tough stuff to challenge me to get through shit.
But Johnny, are you sitting here and telling me that if we had a half marathon that was completely straight and flat, you wouldn't consider it tough?
No. I mean, it's tough, but not, like, once you do one, no. Like, because
what if you do that and I'm in a golf cart shooting paintballs at you the whole time? And you never know when I'm going to hit you because I don't.
You're driving and shooting?
No, I have a driver.
Who's the driver? Ben?
Joe. Or bleep that name. Sausage and Peppers.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. You're not going to hit me much. So I could deal with that. But, yeah, it's tough, but I want tougher. And within reason, you have to stair step to toughness. You have to baby step to toughness to be able to actually overcome it and learn from it and grow from it. Right. If you just go from nothing to a 100-mile race, you're just setting yourself up for failure, you know? So I stair step to toughness.
I really hope this recorded because I will tell you, if this didn't, I'm not doing this. I'm so tired. I'm not doing this again. That's
showbiz, baby. But anyway, that's all I got to say about
I appreciate you always doing this and pushing me, and you're very selfless in doing this. There's no other reason, because it's not like, oh, I just want somebody to run the race with. Like, you don't care about your time, like, and you fully train, you do all the training run just to keep time with me, which I think you barely broke a sweat. So it is appreciated. Don't know if I'm ever going to do it again. I might do something that's maybe harder but shorter. Maybe a shorter mutter or something, like something like a 2-mile Spartan.
His mother was a mutter.
Yeah, but the longevity of this is just what kills me. It's the constant motion is just what kills me.
That's what I need though sometimes. That's why I like to do these. I don't like to do these, but that's why I do them.
Yeah. But thank you.
Thank you. And that's the one final thing is. Haters are going to hate. And you know who the haters are. No matter what you accomplish in your life, those people are always going to nitpick and find something wrong for whatever reason. And it's not for us to figure out that reason. It's none of our business. And you got to try to stop caring about it. Because what you did is an impressive feat. So understand that. Don't bitch about your stupid leg anymore, but be proud of yourself for getting through stuff.
I won't, but like it also does still very much hurt. Like I definitely pulled something in my leg.
Yeah, you're weak. I got it. You're weak. Whatever.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Got it. With that, before we go, the big three, real quick. 3 pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being. Number 1, exercise every day. Whatever it is, physical, mental, or emotional exercise, do one thing every day to improve yourself physically, mentally, or emotionally. Number 2, the hardest one, don't be a shitty person, be a kind person. Whenever the opportunity arises to be a shitty person or to respond negatively or to get involved in the negative shit going on in the world, realize your emotional state there in that moment, detach from your emotions and omit yourself from that situation. Focus on more productive and positive things in your lives, and getting out of that negativity in the long run will serve you better in the future. So do that. Number 3, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives, because you never know when it's not going to be there. So instead of waking up assuming everything's going to be there and taking things for granted, take some time to think about what your life would be like without all those good things and people. And that'll put you in a state of gratitude, and you'll feel better for it. And if you do those 3 things, you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being, and you can spread that goodness and health and wealth and wisdom throughout the land. Styxx, thanks for being on. Thanks for allowing me to be your guest on the Styxx Show.
I took a back seat here. I don't want any complaints from
everybody who listens to a Styxx episode.
I'm the best guest you have, and you know it. You know it. I'm the most entertaining guest you have.
True at all. Have you listened to the Bum Boosters episode or the Bum Dumps episode with Creature? That's a top,
Creature's pretty entertaining.
Wet Cat brings in the views.
Because the views of your baseball team. That's all I want.
Views are views, baby. But thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your friends and enemies. Hit that hotline 202-670-1114. Thank you again for everything. I love you guys. Stay strong.